All right, greetings and salutations, everyone who's listening out there. So we are going to be continuing our unit on psychological development by studying the cognitive and emotional development of children. Now, one of the foremost thinkers and original theorists on cognitive development was a man named Jean Piaget. And he started out studying his children and then moved on to study thousands of other children. And he concluded that young children think differently than older adults and other older children. Now, intellectual development involves both quantitative change, so how much we actually know, and qualitative change, how we think about things. So this is just a picture and an image of Jean Piaget working with a couple of young people, studying them, learning about their cognitive and emotional abilities. And he came up with this idea that people have schemas. And schemas are a mental representation of the world, so it's our understanding of how the world works and how things function in our world. Now, we're constantly adding new knowledge and ideas, so we do this through both assimilation and accommodation. Now, assimilation is fitting objects and experiences into one schema. So let's say you understand the fact that there is a man named Brad Pitt that exists in the world, and you understand that he's an actor, and then you learn that he's starred in a movie, say Fight Club. So you assimilate and add all this information into your schema of this actor, Brad Pitt. And let's say you know that he's dating a woman named Jennifer Aniston. Now, you learn to accommodate and you learn this new information that Brad Pitt has broken up with Jennifer Aniston, and you're going to accommodate and add this new information that he's left Jennifer Aniston and moved on to Angelina Jolie. So accommodation is adjusting one's schema to include newly observed events and experiences into your understanding of how something works. Now, another way that we grow and develop is by gaining this idea of object permanence. Now, object permanence is a child's realization that an object exists even when he or she cannot see or touch it. For example, when playing peekaboo with a very young child, say a newborn to 6 months of age, when you play peekaboo with them, or let's say you hide an object from behind your back, if they can't see it, they don't fully understand that it's not there. At that young of an age, they only understand what they can see in front of them. But between 7 and 12 months of life, they gain this idea of object permanence and know that even if they can't see the object, that the object still exists in the real world. Another way that children develop is by gaining this idea of representational thought. And this is the intellectual ability of a child to picture something in his or her mind. Often we see this with, say, coloring, where a child will have the ability to picture an idea or something in their mind and then fully express that by drawing it out or making some sort of visual image of it. Now, another way that children develop, and we can study and measure the growth of children, is their ability to attain conservational thought. Now, conservation is the principle that a given quality does not change when its appearance is changed. So, for example, if you gave a very young child, say maybe he was 2 to 3 year old, 2 glasses of water. One glass was short but fat. Another one was tall and skinny. So a young child, like we said, between the ages of, say, 2 and 3, would assume that the taller glass was actually bigger, even though they may hold the same amount of liquid. Now, if you were to give, say, a 5 to 7 year old, usually at this age they master this idea of conservation, and they will know that they each hold the same amount of liquid, even though they're different sized glasses. Now, at this very young age, typically young children are what we consider very egocentric. So egocentrism is a young child's inability to understand another person's perspective. So that at this age, they're very much focused on themselves and what they need, and they're not able to see the world from another person's perspective. But as they grow older, we hope that they can see the world from somebody else's perspective and understand how other people think and feel. Now, Piaget also outlined 4 stages of cognitive development. First one being sensory motor stage, and this takes place between birth and 2 years old. And at this time, the focus on the stage is motor response to stimuli. So really, their cognitive thought is just they experience some sort of stimulus, maybe a touch, a tap, placing your finger in a newborn's hand, and then they're going to have some sort of response to that stimulus. Now, the second stage after this is the pre-operational stage, and this usually happens between 2 and 7, 8 years of life. And typically, this is when you see egocentric thinking. At this time, there's a lack of conservational thought. Usually, they can't can't understand, like we talked about, being able to see the difference between two liquids, even though in different size glasses, even if they contain the same volume. At this time, they're also able to use words and images to solve simple problems. The third stage is the concrete operation stage, and at this time, young children begin to understand conservation, but they still have trouble with understanding abstract ideas and hypothetical situations. And then from 11 and onward, you are in the formal operation stage, which you understand the abstract ideas, hypothetical situations, you're capable of logic and deductive reasoning to solve problems. This is just a chart representing the 4 stages in Piaget's stages of development. Thank you for listening.